Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Today we are going to start looking and do a first look at RIFTBOUND from League of Legends. Shout out to my friend and yours, one of the first commenters on almost all my videos, ScreenWatcher33, for sending me this Gencon exclusive RIFTBOUND League of Legends trading card game kit that was at Gencon. He's local to me, and so he let me open up on the channel. But I wanted to do a new series where we kind of go back to the roots a little bit of Kitchen Table TCG and do first looks at new card games that I'm interested in. And this is not my channel going back away from Magic the Gathering or anything like that. But as the channel has adapted and evolved, we've now become a channel that is focused around my local game store. And we are going to be hosting and doing events for RIFTBOUND. So I wanted to make sure I did a first look and take a look at that. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. We are going to open this in a second, but first I want to give you guys what I know about RIFTBOUND, which is not a ton, but I want to update you with this stuff. So RIFTBOUND is from League of Legends. Riot Games is the owner of RIFTBOUND, and League of Legends is developing a card game based around League of Legends, which is the biggest, like, video game, thing in the world. I don't do a ton of video games, so I don't know League of Legends. I don't know any of the lore or anything like that. But League of Legends is massive. Riot Games is obviously a massive company behind the game. So this is really cool. You have a lot of backing and a lot of good support for the TCG, and that gives me a lot of confidence as a store owner. And I know a lot of the people who support my channel, the Gold Wizards, we did a pre-order for this. A lot of people are very excited about it and are picking up product. So there is a lot of demand just based around it having the League of Legends name. So what we're going to see here in this Gencon thing is 2 decks. And obviously in a TCG, you're going to build a deck. These are pre-constructed decks. Your deck is going to have a champion legend that's going to kind of sit, I believe, outside of the deck. We'll see when we open it up. And you're trying to win battlefields, and eventually we'll do like a gameplay of RIFTBOUND. Actually, one of my employees, Cole, is really excited for RIFTBOUND as well. So we'll do a demo and actually show you on the channel as well, just to kind of be a part of that. And yeah, so you're winning battlefields, which is basically what League of Legends is, right? And we'll figure that out. You got runes and battlefields and might, and I'm sure there's some sort of mana system, that kind of thing. But then collectability wise, they are doing things that we've seen most card games doing. You've got your regular bordered cards. You've got borderless cards. But then their big chases here are the alternate arts and the over-numbered cards. They are basically trying to make sure that they can reprint big, expensive cards at any point. And the over-numbered cards are not going to be legal in the standard rotation, that kind of thing, because they are over-numbered. That's what they're doing it. But they're going to be big, like Riot Games artist cards that people are going to be excited about. I believe somewhere here, there's a signature. Yeah, there's going to be a signature on this. This is going to be the chase foil for those for sure. So if you're interested in RIFTBOUND, let me know in the comment section if this is a game that you have your eyes on and that kind of thing. But let's go ahead and hop in to the RIFTBOUND Gencon kit. Thank you so much, ScreenWatcher, for sending me this. I'm going to see if I can open this for you and keep this. Not so you can like reseal it or something. I mean, obviously everything will be open inside, but just instead of just ripping it down the seam. There we go. All right, so let's see what was in this. This is an interesting packaging for a Gencon exclusive type thing. It's just like a baggie. Oh, there's not even a seal. That's great. Oh, there's a little seal. So we got the Volibear tribal deck. Okay. And the Jinx trial deck. Sorry, not tribal, trial deck. And our promo card is Ari. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong. Alluring. Wow, gorgeous artwork there. Really, really cool looking card. This is the launch exclusive. League Splash Team is the artist. I don't know what that all is. Again, I don't know all the things. I'm guessing when we open more cards, we'll take a look. Let's take a look. Let's go with the Jinx deck first, and then we'll go into the Volibear deck. There is a little seal here. So this is a trial deck, a 40 card plus 12 rune cards and 3 battlefield cards. So a total of a 55 card deck. This is really good packaging, especially for a game that is brand new. But UVS has made a lot of games. Riot Games obviously has the money to produce things well. Let's see if I can cut this open nicely here. Whenever it's somebody else's stuff, I like to be a little bit more gentle than I typically am. But also we gotta keep the video rolling. Let's see if I can just peel that off. Never knew I didn't know what I was getting into here. There we go. Here we go. Let's go. Let's take a look at the Jinx deck. All right, this is also sealed inside. Well, I kind of like the back. The simplicity of those cards on the back looks really cool. Uh-oh, are they all gonna say sample on it? Are these all sample decks for? Oh man, sample cards being back brings me back to the days of the pandemic and indie TCGs. If sample cards are back. Crazy. All right, so Jinx here must be, what are we calling this? A legend? Is that what I believe it's called? Must be our legend. Champion Legend is Lynx or Jinx. That is a black backed card, and it does say sample on it. And I believe the ability is Loose Cannon. At the start of your beginning phase, draw one if you have one or fewer cards in your hand. Seems like a pretty good ability. Draw cards in any TCG is very good. So that is your champion or your legend, whatever it's called. And then I'm guessing these are your, what do we just call them? I saw it on the back. These are the rune cards, maybe. No, these are the battlefield cards. So the Reaver's Woe. I mean, the art looks pretty cool. Kuda's Productions. When you defend here, you may move a friendly unit. Okay, so I believe when you play the game, you put the battlefields out there, and you don't own the battlefield. You are just providing the battlefield to the game, and then anybody can conquer the battlefields is what happens. So when you pick your battlefields, I believe the idea is to pick ones that when you conquer them, they benefit your deck more than, whatever ganking is, right? So they benefit your deck more than they benefit the deck of the opponent, which is a really cool mechanic if that's how it actually works out. It's a really cool mechanic because you are bringing essentially the game-winning mechanic into the game, and that's what kind of helps you win. All right, then this is going to be our rune cards, I guess, are going to be okay, so here's the Fury rune. Those are the white cards. The Chaos rune. These are your, I guess your colors like in Magic. And here we have, these are the regular cards. And I don't know if these are called minions or creatures or what. I guess it's probably units. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the top left is casting cost. I'm going to guess that. The top left is casting cost. The top right, I'm guessing, is going to be your power. As you play me, Josh was telling me this. The card refers to itself as me, which is interesting. As you play me, you may discard a card as an additional cost. If you do, reduce my cost by 2. Okay, interesting. I like that they have, flavor text. The cards look really, really good. The name of this card, okay, is Bilgewater Pirate Brazen Buccaneer. Interesting. So all these are Brazen Buccaneers. Or are they Bridgewater Pirates? See, if I was just like, I don't know anything about League of Legends, I would just call this Brazen Buccaneers. But here, I would not call this Loose Cannon. I would call this Jinx. So it's kind of interesting how the UI, or I guess it wouldn't be UI, but the graphic art here doesn't highlight what I think is the actual name of the card. That's kind of interesting. Here's Zon, the Chemtech Enforcer. Gosh, these saying sample on them brings me back. It's crazy. When you play me, discard 1, assault 2, +2. Yeah, so I was right. That's the power in the top right. +2 power while I'm the attacker. I kind of like the I'm. When you discard me, you may pay, I guess that's a rune. Maybe that's a Fury rune to play me. Okay, so it seems very similar. I would assume that these are separate decks for your lands. So you don't have the like land screw that you have in Magic, or getting flooded with lands like you have in Magic. Power 2, Legion, Rearguard, Noxus, Trifarian. Accelerate, you may pay 1 and a Fury rune as initial cost. You have the ender ready. That's pretty good. Hopeful. The artwork feels good. The look of the cards, I mean, it looks polished. It brings you back to like video games, right? Like it looks way more modern and video game-esque than Magic the Gathering does, right? It looks like it's made for a digital game. I'm not sure if they have any plans for a digital game. I would think Riot Games would have a plan. They are a game company to make a digital game for this. This is Jinx Demolitionist. Okay, so your legend is outside of your deck, right? It's black. This is blue. So your legend is definitely outside of your deck, but there's other characters within that are the same, character as the card. Interesting. I wonder if these are more rare cards. I mean, I know they're pre-constructed deck, but the artwork is kind of different. You can see like the framing is different. V, destructive. This is ganking. I can move from battlefield to battlefield. Okay, so there must be like lanes, right? Where you have different sections, like Magic, right? Everything is out there, but you have different sections, so that's kind of cool. That's kind of like Wonders of the First, which is another game we're probably going to show off here on the channel as part of the series of going back to some of the games I'm carrying at the store and getting into. Seal of Rage. So this is a free one. So this is like, some sort of mana rock type thing. It's gear. So that's your artifact. Reaction. Add a Fury rune. Okay, that seems pretty good for 0. There's been some good cards in the past. Gust. Return a unit on a battlefield with 3 or less power. I'm going to call that power. I don't know if that's true. To its owner's hand. Rebuke. Return a unit on the battlefield to its owner's hand. Death kill. Discard 2, then draw 2. When I die, I get the effect. Okay. Death kneel. Okay, I was going to say death kill. Seems like when you kill something. When I move, I discard 1. Here's another Jinx card. Jinx the Rebel. The cards feel good. I'm not going to do the bend test with Justin's cards, although he might think that's funny. But they feel good. I feel like they would pass the bend test if I didn't. Maybe I'll do it with one of the runes. I'm going to do it with one of the runes, Justin. Hopefully you're cool with that. Possession. Really cool looking card. I have no clue who that guy is, but really cool card. Seal of Discord. Another one of those little mana rock things, and a super mega death rocket. All right, let's get this other deck open and take a look at it, and then we'll do the bend test. The bend test is a classic kitchen table TCG test of indie card games to see, does it pass the bend test? Meaning, are the cards quality enough that the cards can have a little bit of a bend to them before they just crack in half? There's been games in the past that come out and the cards are not quality enough to really be shuffled and played and whatever. And I don't like cards that don't completely be able to bend in half like a Magic card. In other words, they don't have a core. Magic has a blue core. Most of these games will have a black core. Relentless Storm. This is Volibear. When you play a mighty unit, you may exhaust me to channel 1 rune exhausted. Channel must be a mechanic. I don't know. That looks really, really cool. That guy looks crazy. All right, here's the Obelisk of Power. So you can see how the mechanic here at the start of each player's beginning phase, that player channels 1 rune, connects to this when you channel 1 rune exhausted, right? So you are trying to take over your battlefields. You're choosing the winning things, the win conditions of the game that affect you and make you a better opponent than your opponent. It's kind of what happens. Recycle 1 of your runes. That's a really cool mechanic. I could see it being really interesting because your opponent could say, oh man, if they get that, they will be way better than me. So I have to get that. And instead of your opponent going after their things, they're trying to prevent you from getting your things. That's a cool thing. All right, let's do a Fury rune here. Let's see if it passed the bend test. Screen Watcher 23. Thank you. All right, that works. You see, it didn't crease. Yeah, the white card's kind of hard, but there's no crease. I can tell. I'll do it this way. There's no crease when it goes sideways. Another card would have just kind of creased in half. There's a little tiny one there. I'm gonna say it passes the bend test. I'm gonna say it barely passes, kind of passes the bend test. So I'm gonna say, but it's not a Magic card like a Magic card. Like here, I'll take this Eye of, this is an expensive card, right? It will pass the bend test. There's not going to be there's no creases. It doesn't matter because there's a core to that paper. It's the bend test. It's like, can you flick it? Like that's not as good as Magic, but I will say this is not the final product, right? These are the sample decks, so maybe the real product will be a little bit thicker. These are better than One Piece cards are, to be honest. The One Piece cards don't pass the bend test either. But Screen Watcher 33, I'll get you back somehow. I'll hook you up with some Riftbound or something. I'll definitely replace your Fury rune. But Blazing Scorcher artwork looks pretty. Some of the cards like this one, there's nothing really special. This looks like a Magic card. Like the artwork just looks like it looks like a Magic card. I kind of like the more. For this game, I kind of like the more digital video game art because that's kind of what I think people are going to expect. But some of the art just seems too Magic the Gathering-esque. That'd be one of my questions on it is, can it differentiate itself enough from Magic to be a game where you say, I want to play that instead of Magic the Gathering, which is much easier to find people to play. Here's a Barbarian. That thing looks crazy. Kadreen the Infernal. See, this is also just like a dragon deck, which is kind of hard to not be like Magic, because Magic is just like Dungeons and Dragons in that way. So this might not be a fair statement. I didn't feel that way about the Jinx deck. So here's the Furious Volibear. I apologize to all the League of Legends fans who are mad at me for not knowing the things. This is kind of cool. Like you start seeing the TCG world enter into your hobby. There's going to be a lot of different people who have never really done it. Here's a Catalyst of Aeons, Channel 2 Runes Exhausted. So I believe Channel 2 Runes Exhausted means that you are putting 2 runes out on, I think this is like a ramp spell, is my gut. Carnivorous Snapvine. See, I don't like that artwork at all. That looks dark. Can't really see it. That one's kind of a miss. I assume that this is the official art, like not just sample art or something. Deadbloom Predator. Oh, this card's kind of stuck to itself. This one, like this art just doesn't look, this deck particularly doesn't look unique enough as artwork. Misfortune, the Captain. I kind of like that one. Like the perspective of this is different than most cards. You know how like, let's see if we can find another character card. Like this, like the object is just kind of fully in the picture. It's just not, there's nothing that special about that. But this, there's a lot special about that. Her head's not fully in it. It's not really centered on her face. Like, I don't know. There's different things. It's cool. Looks good. This one too, Stormbringer. It's like a close-up picture of the eyes of a bear. That's kind of cool. That's different than just a bear, right? All in all, I'm excited about the mechanics of the battlefield. I think if there was something about Riftbound that has me excited, other than obvious things like the League of Legends IP and that kind of stuff, and some of the collectability I think is built pretty well. I don't know what the pull rates will be and that kind of stuff, but I like that kind of stuff. What I'm really excited to see is how this kind of mechanic plays out, where you are not just battling to damage your opponent, but you're battling to conquer things that give you an advantage. I think games like this, in my opinion, my gut says this will be a pretty quick-paced game, because when you win something, you get better. And in Magic, when you destroy your opponent, you don't really necessarily get stronger. And so games can kind of take a long time. But a mechanic like this, where when you do something, it can have an extreme effect on you, makes the game faster. And a lot of people, one of the biggest successes of One Piece was that the gameplay was fast-paced and people could get the games in and out pretty quickly. And so I think that's going to be an interesting thing here. All in all, I'm pretty excited for Riftbound. It'll be interesting to see what our allocations are and how much product we end up getting and that kind of stuff. But I know the locals are pretty excited. And Screenwatcher 22 or 33, thank you so much for letting me open up this Gencon exclusive Riftbound card game. And hopefully you guys will let me know in the comment section what you think. Remember, be kind to the people around you. We are going to be getting into some of these different TCGs. It's not going to be less Magic content or anything like that. Once we get into the store, we'll continue to go back to kind of our regular collection buying and all the regular videos. But I'm going to start adding a little bit more of the roots of the channel, which is kind of going back to some of the indie TCGs and the alternative TCGs that is a lot more fun. And not a lot more fun, but it's more fun for me to talk about because it's new and it's exciting. But things are not pivoting or anything like that. But we're just going to talk about some of the games we're carrying at the store. So you guys have yourself a fantastic day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.